Now that would be gorgeous in my garden. Hey guys, welcome back. I'm just getting ready for spring, and one of the things that we can do for our environment is to plant trees, flowers for the bees so that they have some food, because without the bees, we wouldn't have all of our great food. So I'm just looking through a catalog, looking at flowers and plants and vegetables that I want to plant for the summer. So think about that. It's a hobby of mine. Maybe that could become a hobby of yours as well. But the real reason that you are here today is because we are on David Walliams' Ice Monster. Today we are going to be reading chapters 39 and 40. Let's get started. Chapter 39, An Unwelcome Sight. Poor Dottie was thrown up and down with each step the mammoth took. Pound, pound, pound. Oof, oof, oof. As they rode down the staircase on Woolly's back, Elsie and Dottie were met by an unwelcome sight. The professor had come too. Now he was sitting up straight in his wheelchair at the bottom of the stairs with his dart gun in his hand. "You should have hit me harder," he purred. "I wish I had now," replied Elsie. Because of her undignified position, slumped over the back of the animal with her face buried in Woolly's fur, Dottie was struggling to keep up with what was going on. "Oh no, not him again," she remarked. "Prepare to die, both of you," said the professor. He pointed the gun straight at Dottie's bottom. A deafening sound came from the huge wooden doors behind him. Boom! "What's that?" asked Elsie. "That will be the policemen battering their way in," replied the professor. Boom! And another. "There's just enough time to kill you and claim this monster as mine." Boom! Another. "I'm going to enjoy this." Boom! Behind the professor, the doors to the museum burst open. Smash! Shards of wood flew into the air. The battering ram, which was a huge log on wheels, was going at such a speed the policeman couldn't stop it. Whirr! It sped right through the professor, whacking the back of his wheelchair. Poof! Argh! The force of the whack sent the man shooting across the floor. Whoosh! He crashed straight into the glass case of stuffed apes. Bang! The professor was thrown up out of his wheelchair. Pow! And smashed through the glass. Shatter! Knocked out cold, he landed right between two of the apes, with his mouth wide open. He could have passed for one of them. All this commotion startled the mammoth, who let out a gigantic "Ho!" Elsie patted the animal and said, "Whoa there, Woolly." It was no use. The mammoth began charging towards the line of policemen at the door. The officers all cried out, "Help! No! I don't believe it! It's alive! The icy thingamigummy! A real life monster! And I ain't done no trading for monsters. I want paid overtime for this. My ma said I had to be back for breakfast." As they leaped out of the way of the rampaging beast, Elsie and Dottie held on for their lives as the mammoth galloped out of the museum. "After them, you fools!" snarled Barker. "That monster is the property of the Queen. We must bring it back alive or dead." Chapter 40, Chocolate Balls. Woolly was way too fast for the policemen. By the time they had scrambled to their feet, the mammoth was gone. The creature galloped out of the grounds of the Natural History Museum and charged down the road. Hoo! Try as she might, Elsie could not get the animal to slow down. Poor Dottie was thrown around on the back of the mammoth. Oof, oof, oof. London was waking up, and a handful of market stall holders were wheeling their produce along the snow-covered roads. "Mind the plums!" shouted one as the barrow of fruit was trampled underfoot. "Watch me nuts!" yelled another as his roasted chestnuts were sent flying. "You've crushed my chocolate balls!" hollowed a familiar voice. "That must be Raj," remarked Dottie. "Who?" asked Elsie. "Raj. He sells sweets at the market," replied Dottie. She called out to him, "Hello, Raj!" The man smiled and waved. "Oh, hello, Miss Dottie, my favorite customer. I have some half-chewed licorice on special offer today." "I can't stop, Raj." "And feel free to come back with that huge, furry, long-nosed donkey of yours for a sugar lump." "She's a mammoth." "She's very big for a moth." Still, the mammoth galloped through the snow. "Ho!" she cried. "Where's she taking us?" asked Dottie. "I don't know," replied Elsie, "but wherever we're going to get there fast." With some difficulty, Dottie lifted her head to see for herself. "North!" she exclaimed. "We're heading north." "Always north," replied the girl. Up ahead, Elsie saw that the sandwich board man she'd met outside the Natural History Museum. On spotting the mammoth charging towards him, he shouted, "The beast is alive! The end is nigh!" "Your end will be nigh if you don't get out of the way," shouted Elsie. By tugging on the mammoth's fur, the girl just managed to make her swerve past him. "The end is not quite nigh," he shouted as they passed. "Woolie's going to trample someone to death if we're not careful," said Elsie. "We need to get her off the streets, hide her somewhere." "I know the perfect place," replied Dottie. "Where?" "The Royal Hospital. It's not far. It's where Twitch lives. He'll help us." "How do we get there?" "Can you steer?" "A little bit." "Then steer right." The girl tugged on the fur of the mammoth's right side, and the animal veered right. "But, Dottie, we can't just turn up there with a mammoth." The lady was stumped by this. "Oh, yes, you're right. I'm pretty sure they only treat old soldiers, not animals." "Prehistoric animals." "Yes, I imagine they aren't welcome." "Someone might tell on us." "We have to disguise her somehow," said the girl. "We should shave her and say she's an elephant." "Hold on." "I am holding on, love, for dear life." "I've got an idea." Elsie steered the mammoth down a dingy back street, just ahead of the laundry, where the number of sheets were hanging up to dry. "We just need to borrow these sheets." "Whatever for?" "You'll see." All right, my friends, that does it for chapters 39 and 40. Now, you know what's coming, right? All right. Are you ready? Come on. You have to do better than that. I said, are you ready? Woo! Sound like Wooly there. All right. You will be answering these questions by restating them, but they must also be complete sentences. That means they start with a capital, end with a period, and have parts of the question in the answer. All right. I'm going to get back to my hobby of figuring out what I'm going to be planting this year. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Make sure you click submit.